Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video we're going through the Adelaide versus Western Bulldogs game, in which Western Bulldogs actually had one more shot than Adelaide. I didn't actually know this. They had one more shot than Adelaide, but still ended up losing by 39 points. I think that is, 39 points, which is one of the worst splits I've seen for a team having more shots and actually losing. And yeah, that is just horrific. They had 27 shots to 26 and ended up losing 111 to 72. But anyway, let's jump into this video here. As you see here, here are the scores. And here's what I was looking at here with regards to the scoring. And that, pretty much shows. And I think now, from memory, I think I tipped the Bulldogs game right 7 out of 21 times this year, I think. And that is a horrific ratio. I just cannot tip them. So whatever I tip, the Bulldogs do the exact opposite. Like, I thought it was the obvious tip to go and tip the Bulldogs, who are the form team in the comp, if not the second form team in the comp behind Brisbane. And then they go and lose. Like, I was tipping the obvious ones this week, and they lost. Jordan Dawson ended up with 27 touches, 6 marks, 9 tackles, and a goal. He pretty much filled every stat sheet, and this is what he can do when he's really on form. It just sucks that he hasn't really been able to do it consistently. As you can see, 104, then a 126, DMP'd the week before, 81 concussed in that week, a 114, then a 57, a 106, then an 84, 124, 60. So it seems like he was going up and down, up and down, and up and down. He only really did it for this 6-week patch here, and then had a 60, and then another good patch here. But he'll be definitely underpriced next year, coming in probably 103, probably 104, 105. If he does well in the last couple, then that gets him back up to sort of that 108, 109. But it'll be interesting what happens with the Adelaide midfield, and to see what happens with Jordan Dawson. As at his best, he's a 120 guy, but at his sort of worst, he's an inconsistent sort of 95 guy. So it's really tough to see, and I don't know if I really want him or whether I want Bontempelli pretty much at the same exact price. Shoal, 118, I just don't think he has much fancy relevance, to be honest with you. He's done well the last couple of weeks, but even then, as a straight-up mid at that price point, I just don't think 120, so that's 214 plus... He's done 342 the last 3, which is an average of 114. That's probably up there in the top 10, I would say, for the last 3 weeks, but I still think there are guys in the midfield that... and I don't think many would have obviously jumped on him anyway, but I just think that there were guys that would have definitely scored better than 116. But then again, he's done well in the last 3 weeks, but I don't think anyone would have predicted him to do well enough to jump on him, and I don't think he'll score well again, to be honest with you. O'Brien here, he's done really well the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks now, but then again, he's not up there in the top 2 rucks, so it doesn't really matter. If you don't have Cherry or Marshall, which I will be rectifying this week, then O'Brien's scores just sort of limit the damage that they're doing. But other than that, he doesn't really have fancy relevance. Keys, 106. He's actually been pretty good. 110, 129, 61, 100, and then a 106. 19, 8 and 4, and 3 goals. He's been really, really good these last couple weeks. That was kind of a crazy scoring thing there with 16 there and then another 6 there. So he got off really quickly. He's a hard one to judge. I think that those who have him are probably laughing at this point, that other than this 61, he's honestly been pretty good since the bye. I just don't think that I've gone there because I was going for the more midfield guys. And, you had Flanders, Zorko, Caldwell, Heaney. Those are 4 midfielders already. Then you had the likes of Dylan Moore, who's outscoring Keys. I'm pretty sure. And then you had, then it was sort of just trying to get a Philippou or a Peatling, who are both also midfielders who have that top line scoring. So Keys is just doing it in a role very, very similar to the likes of a Dylan Moore. So I probably just wanted to limit the damage that he could have, because the potential downside of his role, like he's in a massive purple patch at this point, but we saw pre-buy, this is him pretty much in the exact same role. And yeah, so he had a really good run. Don't know who Adelaide play in their last 2. I think they have Sydney in the last week. So he did go 60 against Sydney. So I wonder how that's going to turn out. But yeah, he definitely put up a massive score this week. Rory Laird, 96, he's been up and down as well. I thought after this, but he hasn't really, as a mid only, he's really sort of still scored well. But has he scored top of the line well? I don't think so. I think he's scoring in that sort of 10 to 15 bracket, which is all right, but it's not sort of game breaking. Like that of Keys, who is scoring top of sort of that top 4 or 5 in the forward line in the same time period, pretty much post bye. Crouch has come back and 83 and now 95. He's just sort of, he's getting a lot of disposals, but then again, not really doing much else outside of that, but that is the way he scores. I would like to see his meters gained again, because like he was not a meters gained guy last before the injury that he had, and let's just see what his meters gained are like now when he's come back. Let's see, what are his meters gained? 399 meters gained for 32 disposals actually isn't the worst, to be honest with you. How was Rory Laird's meters gained? Because that was a big hassle. Those two have combined for 800 meters gained, give or take, with roughly 60 disposals, which is actually on AFL average, give or take, like a meter or two of AFL average, 4 meters per disposal, which isn't actually that bad. So they've obviously changed that up a little bit, and it's working a lot better. And I think that's mostly due to Matt Crouch getting a lot more of the a lot more kicks away rather than handballs, and I think he's just playing a little bit better footy because of that. Even though he's not putting up the scores, he's it's contributing a lot more towards actually winning the game. I know that they didn't. I don't know how well he went in the Geelong game. Let me just check that. But they got close against Geelong, and he put up an 83, which was a tactical sub out. I don't know when, but he had 109 meters gained in that from 26 touches, which is like what he was doing in the past. And that's where I think that they start to struggle, is when they have a midfielder that doesn't really gain much ground off the boot. Probably should move it along a little bit. McElhinney, Berry, Thilthorpe, Rochelle, one that I think could take a next step, but I don't know if he necessarily will get that role change that he probably needs to take that next fancy step, as I genuinely think he could be a midfielder. I just don't see it happening with this Adelaide midfield at the moment. Fogarty, Worrell, Keane, Saligo, Murphy. Curtin with a 63 looked pretty good. Ended up kicking 2 goals, which was good for him. Getting off the mark there. 11, 5-2 and 2 goals, pretty good. I'm just intrigued to see how that works out with next year with his actual role, as he had 17 through 4, which is, 43, 64, 66. So he's on 129 through 5, which is about 25.8. So that would still put him around min price next year, and depending on his position, I think he'll be more considered a defender. So a min price defender that potentially actually gets game time could be interesting, given that if he's priced at 200 but can go at a price that's probably lifts him up towards that 500 range, and that's just a lot better than, and he's probably a lot more viable than like going for the Zach Reeds and stuff like that next year that we had this year. But yeah, I think that's what Curtin will hopefully be mid-price, or if he isn't mid-price, it will be hopefully in that sort of sub 250k, as that'll be needed. Then Rankin just had a shocker, and yeah, I don't know whether his midfield role's been lost or whatnot, or whether this was just him easing back into it, but yeah, just not there. And then Zach Taylor and Hugh Bond could be interesting next year. Zach Taylor, given that he's had a couple of sub games, and the fact that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so he was roughly about that 345 range or so. Adds 13 to that, 358 divided by 7. He should be around that 42, which just puts him out of any fancy range, I would think. Bont 126, 9, 34, 33, and then 50. Got off to a really slow start, but then really picked it up in the last quarter. And 26, 7, and 6, and 2 goals, 2. Absolute huge effort from him, but in the end, they couldn't get over the line. He kicked his 2 goals in the second and third quarter, and then did a lot of non-disposal work in the last with 3 tackles and 5 marks. So yeah, did a lot of his non-disposal work in the last, but couldn't get them over the line. English 96, but he's injured. So yeah, I'm trading. That is a forced trade for me. Libba 96, Treloar 85. Treloar's starting to slow down, but I don't think Dunks scored that well from memory. So yeah, kind of that trade is sort of still in the negative, I believe. Let me just double check what Dunks did actually score in the end, as I've done that game so much earlier that I forgot what he scored. Dunks scored a 92, Treloar scored an 85, so Treloar is still massively up on him. Sam Darcy could be an interesting prospect with 2 rounds to go, because I think Western Bulldogs have quite an easy couple rounds. He could be one that you could just look at to sort of dominate, kick 3 or 4 goals. As he kicked 1 goal, 5 here, had 5 marks. He could easily score 110, 2 scores of 110, and at 600k could be interesting, but I wouldn't necessarily go there. Bramble, Garcia, Polter, Lobb, Neil. Richards with the 65 sort of was surprising that he didn't score that well. Only 11 touches, 5 tackles. Williams, Caulfield, West. No one else here really that's interesting. Daniel came on as sub and scored a 47, which sort of shows that he has the potential to score well. But he's priced at 44, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games at 44. So he's probably going to be priced around that 45, 46 range next year. At a new club, that could be really interesting, because a lot of these games are sub games. 1, 2, 3. So he had 3, 4, 5. He had at least 5 sub games out of his 13 or whatever that he's going to have. So that will be huge for scoring potential. I think he's normally going to be probably an 80 scorer, but priced at 44, that could be a really big jump. Ugle-Hagan, Dale, Bay, Jones, Waitman, Karmas, and Norton subbed out. But anyway, that is the video there going through the Adelaide versus Western Bulldogs game. If you did enjoy this recap, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know for future uploads, especially as we transition into more AFLW with only 2 rounds to go of the men's game, and there's only, I think, one more round of recaps, as I will start to transition. I don't think I'll do recaps of the final round, as I don't usually do that. So then we'll transition into the men's the women's fantasy, I should say, and there will be I think there'll be videos on the weekend. Saturday will be version 2 of the AFLW fantasy team, but I think on Thursday, tomorrow, there will be a Team Vanilla video of the AFLW fantasy, just getting some more women's fantasy videos out there for you guys. But I'll see you guys in those videos. Bye, guys.